Let's talk about carbon. I mean, it's the element that literally builds our worlds and our bodies. But, it also holds this really fascinating paradox. It's an element of incredible, almost impossible extremes. So let's dive in and see how one single element can be two completely different things at the exact same time. Okay, so here's the big mystery we're tackling today. How can the exact same element, just pure carbon, create both the toughest material we know of and something so soft we actually use it to write? I mean, it sounds like it just shouldn't be possible, right? But the answer is actually surprisingly elegant. And we're not talking about a small difference here. This is night and day. On one side, you've got diamond, famous for its incredible, brilliant hardness. And on the other, you have graphite. Yep, the stuff in your pencil, which is literally designed to flake apart and leave a mark on paper. Same element, totally opposite results.
So how in the world do we solve this puzzle? Well, the answer comes down to one crucial scientific concept, allotropy. And really, it's all about how the atoms are arranged.
Allotropy sounds complicated, but it just means that an element can build different structures with its atoms, even while staying in the same state, like a solid. Think of it like having a big pile of identical Lego bricks. You could use them to build a super solid, strong cube, or you could use those exact same bricks to build a stack of thin, flat sheets. Same bricks, totally different structures. So let's start with diamond. The magic number to remember here is 4. In a diamond, every single carbon atom is locked tightly into place, forming these incredibly strong bonds with 4 other carbon atoms all around it. This creates this rigid, interlocking 3D web. It's called a tetrahedral structure that is just unbelievably strong. And that rigid 3D web, it's everything. It is the reason diamond is the hardest natural substance we know, which makes it perfect for things like cutting and drilling. And since all its electrons are totally trapped in those powerful bonds, they can't move around. And what does that mean? It means diamond doesn't conduct electricity at all. Okay, now let's switch gears and look at graphite to see how a different story gets built. Here, each carbon atom only bonds to 3 others. Instead of a 3D web, this creates these flat, hexagonal sheets. You could almost picture it like atomic-level chicken wire. And, crucially, that 4th electron from each atom, it's just left free, able to roam around inside its layer. And this layered structure, well, it explains everything about graphite. The layers themselves are actually pretty strong, but the bonds between the layers are super weak. So they just slide right past each other with almost no effort. That's what makes graphite so soft and slippery, perfect for lubricants and, of course, pencil leads. And all those free electrons we mentioned, they turn graphite into an excellent conductor of electricity. So let's put it all together. Here it is, the ultimate side-by-side showdown. You've got the same element, carbon, but a simple little shift in atomic structure from a 3D web to flat layers completely changes the game. Hardness, softness, conductivity, it all just comes down to how those atoms are arranged. Okay, so now we know how this happens. But the next question is, why? Why is carbon so special? How can it form not just these 2 structures, but millions of other compounds? Well, it turns out it comes down to 2 amazing chemical superpowers. It all starts with this number right here, 4. Carbon has 4 electrons in its outer shell, and those are the ones available for bonding with other atoms. This right here is the secret to its incredible versatility. This ability to form 4 strong, stable connections is called tetravalency. Think of it like carbon has 4 hands ready to link up with other atoms. This allows it to be this fantastic building block, creating these complex and really stable skeletons for all kinds of molecules. Carbon's second superpower is something called catenation, and this is just this incredible, unique ability for an element to bond with itself over and over, forming long, stable chains and rings. Now, some other elements can do this a little bit, but carbon is the undisputed champion. It's not even close. And when you put these 2 superpowers together, the ability to form 4 bonds and the ability to link to itself pretty much endlessly, well, that's when you get the magic of carbon chemistry. This 1-2 punch is why carbon is the foundation for the vast, complex molecules of life and all of modern industry. All right, so let's try to connect these deep chemical principles to the world we actually see every day. How does all this atomic-level stuff play out on a bigger scale? Well, for starters, think about hydrocarbons. The name basically says it all, just hydrogen and carbon. This is where carbon's superpowers just really shine. Catenation lets it form these super long chains, and tetravalency lets it grab onto hydrogen atoms to fill out its structure. And the result? The very fuels that power our world, everything from natural gas to petroleum. Carbon's versatility is also absolutely key to industry. I mean, take coal, for instance. If you heat it way up without any oxygen around, that's a process called destructive distillation. You can actually break down its complex carbon structures. And what you get out of it are these incredibly useful products, like coke for making steel and coal gas for fuel. All right, let's do a quick fire recap to make sure this all sticks. So, why is diamond so hard? Simple. It's that strong, rigid, 3D interlocking web of bonds. Period. And graphite, why is it slippery and conductive? You got it. It's all about those weak layers that just slide past each other, and those free-roaming electrons that are happy to carry an electric current. And the big one, why is carbon the undisputed king of elements, forming literally millions of compounds? It all comes back to its two incredible superpowers, catenation and tetravalency. So when you think about it, from the pencil you write with to the fuel in your car and the very DNA inside your cells, it all comes back to the unique, amazing chemistry of carbon. It's already given us diamond and graphite, and more recently, crazy new forms like fullerenes and graphene, which, leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. What will the next structural arrangement of carbon atoms unlock for us?